Good morning. I wanted to take a quick opportunity to help a few people learn to navigate the course a little bit better. And I think there are a couple of things that are throwing people off, and I wanted to clarify that. So if you're navigating just fine, that's great. If not, this may help you. As far as the course is concerned, when you open the course, it should open on the announcements. If it's not, that's kind of a glitch because I've set it to. You'll see a lot of different announcements on the front page. You should always check those out first. Just as a side note, anytime that you see me write something with an underline, that's because it's a link somewhere in the course, such as School Staff Directory exists right here to the left side. School-based team discussion, again, right here. And I apologized because that's within the school-based teams, and then you'll find a discussion board within that. It's not this one that's school-wide. Tutorials and teacher resources is right here. The grade book is going to be found right here. So anything that's underlined is either on the first or second level of links. If it says team-based, then you need to go into your team and then find it. So that will help you a lot. Now, what you should do is every time that there's a unit open, which from here on out is going to be every other Monday, and it will be listed in the professional development portal. Again, this is a role play for K-12, so our coursework is kind of like what we'd have as professional development. So we're going to click that, and it will take you to that welcome message that you read first. But if you roll down, and I may delete that welcome message once everybody gets past this first unit, you'll scroll down, you'll be able to see the different units. It will continue to open down the page as we continue the course. When you click into a unit, here's one of the problems that I think is happening to you all. I think by default your table of contents is opening, and it can be very useful, but it can also be very confusing. So if you want to just minimize that for the moment, the way that you keep from missing anything in any unit whatsoever is to use these arrows back and forth. And the tip right here about clicking through the arrows will help you to make sure that you get all of the content. So Unit 0 is kind of the Are You Ready? We're going to click through that real quick for those of you that maybe didn't do it correctly the first time and are missing some information. So this just gives you a little bit of what the course is about, what collaboration really means, and then the navigation for each unit. Each unit has these components: readings, instruction, discussion, activities, and then a plan ahead page at the very end to just give you a heads up to something that's coming in the next unit before it opens. Each unit will be organized in exactly this manner. I think there's one unit that is modified a little bit because it connects to it, the unit prior to it, but other than that, all of them have it. So now I'm going to go to page 5. This section contains your syllabus and schedule for the entire course. It's your reading assignment for Unit 0. The way that Blackboard makes me set it up is that if I want to organize things in chunks and folders, it has the outside of the folder kind of being shown as a page in here. So this doesn't mean that there's 11 pages of content necessarily. It's just kind of the descriptor page, almost like a divider page. So now I'm actually going to find the books to order. I think most of you were able to do that. Unit 2, I have a little bit of a workaround if you don't have them by the time the 27th comes. Beyond that, you'll need the books. If I go to page 7, this will actually launch the section in which the syllabus and the policies, which really this is the syllabus, and then the schedule, which is all of your due dates and when units open and close. I can click that, or you'll see that this is underlined. So it's actually over here on the left hand side, our PD schedule and policies. And if I click that, voila, here's the schedule for all of the different activities and units, and when they open, when they close, when major things are due. These are generalized activity listings, so I may tweak them a little bit, but for the most part, these things exist in all of the units. It again reiterates some things in the syllabus, and then the full syllabus is right here linked, so you can read that if you haven't already. Now I'm going to go back into Unit 1, and I always go through the professional development portal to get to it, or excuse me, I'm going back to Unit 0. And I could click through all these pages. But here, once I've kind of gone through it once, you might want to use the table of contents to kind of get back to where you were. Let's see, I did readings, books to order, PD, schedule, and policies. That's where I was. So minimize that again. Okay, now I'm on page 7. I'm going to go on to Unit 0 activities. Okay, this is where your create a contact card, which you got credit for, and the check yourself, which is ungraded. That's just kind of for you to double check things. So here is the directions that you all followed for the contact card. You did that. Again, it's underlined school staff directory is right here where all of your cards are now, and you can see all your pictures and all your information so that you can connect with each other, especially when choosing partners. The intra-school mail right here. So you'll see that, you know, I've tried to give you heads up for things that are over here in this left menu. If I go to page 10, that's just a little activity, questions to ask yourself. If you scroll down, if you didn't know the answers, here are those answers to just kind of self-check. And then the very last page, as I always say in every unit, is the looking ahead. And this kind of gives you an understanding. Continue on to Unit 1 through the Professional Development Portal. Again, that's an underlined, it's over here. So if you want to go to Unit 1 then, here it is. Okay, and I have now put beginning slides or pages to every unit that will give you a heads up as to what's really there and what's going to take time so that you can appropriately plan. But my suggestion is that every time a unit opens, click through every page of it and see what's there, and then go back to it as you need to. Most students have a lot of success by trying to do the readings, the instruction, and prepare and begin writing the original discussion post that's due by midnight on Sunday, and then do your responses to peers and your project the second week. That's a pretty good way to do it. But in week 1, you also need to plan for your project, which means if you have a partner, you need to connect with them. You kind of need to get those preliminary pieces done, because if you're waiting to connect with someone until the second week, you're going to not have your ducks in a row. So you can kind of grease the wheels for your project week 1 as well. Okay, so you'll see readings, and this just does give you the tip to, you know, use your table of contents if you need to. Again, there's the book readings I've done some attachments just for this unit. The research articles will always be attached right here, as you can see. Page 5. Now this is again just one of those dividers. This is going to tell you that all 5 of these pieces are in this instructional piece. Lots of little divider pages, and I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to work with Blackboard now that we've updated. Here's the video. Sometimes it gives a little landing page here. This one isn't working, but it will still take you to the video. E-communication, this one was just a link. I didn't embed it because it was acting silly, but you can still get to it. There's the little mini lecture on conflict resolution, the mini lecture on communication and consultation. Now we're at the discussion part. See this little icon? That means we're at the discussion. So it's going to give you generalized information that this section has the information you need to compose your post. When you're ready, if you go to the school-wide discussions, which is over here, it'll have a place for you to put your post, but we need to figure out what we're going to do first. And click through. Okay, as you watch this video, take notes on the communication skills you see. When you're finished, continue to the second video. This is a link. You can click it. It'll take you to the video. The next one, here's the questions that you want to think about while you watch video 2, and here's the link to video 2. And then here are the guidelines for the post that you're going to make. So you're going to want to think about those. I have also posted these on the discussion itself. So if you've kind of considered this and maybe you've written some notes or started to write it on a Word document, then when you're ready, you can go to the school-wide discussions, and you'll see that there is a link there for Unit 1. You can open that and you can create a new thread and post your discussion and be able to open these and reply to other discussion posts. So if I want to go back to Unit 1, Professional Development Portal, scroll down to Unit 1. Instead of clicking through all 20-some pages that I just went through, I can open the table of contents Let's see, I know I was at the discussion 1 unit. I can close this back up so I can better see, and there's where I was. I've already done my discussion pose. Now I'm ready to move on to the activities. Sometimes there's more than one activity, but usually it's just one big assignment. And so when I click into this, this is the actual assignment page. This is where you submit your assignment. You're not going to submit it right now because you're not ready to, but you can look at all the guidelines. This one in particular has a table that kind of pushes off the side. So what I've done is I have added a Word document that is the same set of tables so that you can look at them full screen on your computer. When you're ready to submit, you come back to this page, you click Browse My Computer, you find your document on your computer and you attach it, and you come down and you hit Submit. You'll be able to see how many points there are, which is right here, and when the due date is. And again, you know, this table is here. It's just a little hard to see because it makes you scroll over. Okay? If you want to go on to the last page, go ahead and click it. It will ask you if, to save any changes, or your changes will not be saved. It doesn't matter. You haven't submitted anything, so it doesn't matter. If you had attached a paper to it and hadn't hit submit and you're trying to go on, it's telling you if you go on, it won't really submit until you hit submit. And then last but not least, the looking ahead page that's at the end of every unit, that will give you a heads up to things that you need to be aware of coming into that next unit before it opens. All right, hopefully this was helpful to you. Again, explore the links on the side. There are a lot of things in your school-based teams. I know you have, if you're assigned to a team, there might be a link also at the bottom that takes you directly to your team. But when you scroll down, these group tools, here's your group discussion board, your file exchange, which for assignment 1, you have a document that you need to look at your caseload. It's right here. Here's also a document on tips of how to work with a group online that's specific to this course, how to connect with a partner, ways to work with somebody that's at a distance, and just some general guidelines that will be helpful. There's also the tutorials and teacher resources. This is the same as the tips that I just showed you, except this one will also have some visual tutorials about how to use some of those tools that are suggested on that page. APA guidelines if you want a couple of web links to look at that. And then the in-text citations that I'm asking you to do for discussion boards. Here are multiple examples of ways to do that. Kind of depends on your situation. If you're using one name in text, here's how you would cite it. If you're using one name that's not in the text and it's cited outside of your sentence, then there's how to do that. If you have more than one name, here's how you do that. If you have more than one name outside of your sentence, here's how you do that. Two different citation or two different pieces of research that support what you're saying would be done like that. So there's all types of examples. I'm not overly critical, but it is essential that you start to use APA and start to understand it. So let me know if there are any other things that you need help with. I'm always here. I'm extremely available. Please use me. Thanks so much.